Okay, you're on.
Okay, well, we have a lot of guests this morning. Welcome to all of y'all. Does anybody have anything to say? And now's the time to do it. Robert?
I'd like to be put on the agenda for next session so I can address the directors.
Well, you can address this right now.
Yeah, but you can't take any action if I address you here. It's got to be on the agenda item.
Okay.
What's the subject that you want on there?
Water policy.
Water.
You need more specific, Bill?
Yes.
Oh, I knew you were going to ask that. Let me get it out here. All right. Metering and assigned turnout ratings and community ditch protocol. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, it depends on whether any board member wants to put it on the agenda.
Oh, yeah, we'll put it on there. If you want it on there.
So then what's the item?
Whatever you just said.
Can you repeat?
Sure.
And Sharon, you're gonna take it down.
Yeah. Metering and assigned turnout ratings. Our
Yes.
turnouts, how they're metered and when they assign the CFS to them,
Okay.
and your policy on community ditches and protocol.
Okay. Anybody else have anything to say?
Mr. Stubbs, Mr. Tiras is here from the Bureau of Reclamation. I had promised him that I would ask you to take him out of content and put him on first, yeah, so he wanted to give you all a little presentation on this year's irrigation season.
Okay, great.
Okay, so which item is this coming under?
It'll be under the update of the allocation and project water.
Okay.
6A.
For
6C.
Thank you, Chewy. Can I go ahead and address? Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
There's today is the 16th of September, and we're shutting down Elephant Butte today. Okay, that was the plan that we had. We've got plenty of water left, and continue to reserve the water in Caballo. We've got about 33,000 acre-feet in Caballo left for the remaining part of the season. You guys are going to be shutting down the 28th of September. And by that time, we should have between 12 to 15,000 acre-feet at Caballo. This is what we're going to end up at Caballo. And the reason being is that we need that coverage to maintain and some archaeological findings that they found at Caballo. And if we go any lower than that, then that would expose the findings and the fossils that are there. So we've got to maintain that level. Now, I went back, and I'll try to be as brief as I can. I went back the past 10 years to see where we were in relation to Elephant Butte. And in 2006, we have beginning Elephant Butte storage of 501,000 acre-feet. The season began March the 6th. It ended at 299,000 acre-feet, and the season ended September the 10th. And that was a total of 6 months that you ran. The total release for that year was 480,479. So everybody sees that all the way down to 2015 at the bottom. At 2015, we began the year with a storage of 393,170 acre-feet. And the season began May the 11th. And it ended, we're talking about Elephant Butte, 9/16 today. And the storage, we predict that the storage will be 166,743 at Caballo, and the total release out of Caballo, out of Elephant Butte, will be 434,531. Now, these are all metrics, these are all data points. So I went back, the next one, Jay. I went back and calculated what the yearly increase from the time that we shut down to the next following year. And the increase between 2006, 2007 was 310,990 acre feet. Now I calculated that for every year up to 2015. Now, and I kept the rest of it. So the 310,000 acre feet is what flowed into Elephant Butte from the snow melt by the time between the months that we shut down and started up the following year. That was the buildup that went into Elephant Butte. Okay? And I calculated it for every year. Next slide, Jay. Now, taking those datas, those points, those metrics, the prediction is that for 2016, provided that there aren't any real heavy rainfall and maybe the El Nino doesn't affect us as much as it does, but just based on the data that was for the past 10 years, there's a projected storage in Elephant Butte when we start up again next year of 384,235 acre feet. Okay, that's going to be the projected volume that we're going to be working with on a normal 10-year average. Okay, and looking at this beginning of the season and the end of the seasons, and looking back to the 10 years, we saw that March was a typical starting point for the season. September, typical ending point for the season, a 6-month irrigation season. Okay. Now, next slide, Jay. The total release in the pink area under 2015 was totaled to 4,891,463 acre feet. And the total months that you irrigated for those months was a total of 56 months. So on an average, there was 87,348 released per month out of Elephant Butte. Taking that figure, projecting it, next slide, Jay, and saying for 6 months that we're going to release 524,085 acre feet for the following year, 2016. Those are projections. Okay. Provided we don't have El Nino kick up and give us more water than what we've used in the past 10 years. The likelihood of that happening is strong. The way weather predictions have been, and El Nino is going to be affecting us. Hopefully. Hopefully, yes, hopefully. But you know, in the worst year was, what, 2013, when you only had 2 months of an irrigation season. And we only used, what, 110,000, 190, 2012. So that seemed to be, but if you look at it and for the full 10 years, it's been pretty steady. It's been pretty regular. Okay? And that's been the worst season that we've had. Look at the irrigation months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 7 months, 6 months, 2, 3, and 4. So we're climbing up, okay? And hopefully it'll be a better year next year. Now, this is just Elephant Butte. We're not talking about Caballo. We're not talking about losses. We're not talking about the water being soaked up by the river or evaporation losses and the allocation that Mexico gets. This is the total volume at Elephant Butte. So, in addition to that, and it's good information that, you know, we're keeping an eye on things, and hopefully we can keep giving you this type of information in board meetings to come. In addition to that, the Mesilla gauging station that we take meters at is going to need some work done. We had a little bit of a problem with the cable cars this past season. There was some vandalism that went on that's gonna be corrected. We're looking at ways to make it easier to take meter readings at the Mesita gauging station. And I also want to invite any kind of comments or things that we can be aware of that we may not, I mean, you guys, your eyes are different than what our eyes are. So we welcome any comments or invite remarks or improvements or ways that we can better be of service to the irrigation districts and help complete our job and mission. Okay. Any questions, comments?
Anybody have any questions?
Don't change his name to Dan 4-Foot Curious. Just in honor of Robert.
He's opposite of Wayne Trier's.
I don't know if that's.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. One thing that I wanted to make the board aware of, Dan came up with a daily report that gave us a balance of what water we had used on a daily basis and what the balance was for each of us, for ourselves and for EPCWID, and that helped us tremendously on those daily meetings that we would have on the phone. So that was very good then.
The total operations that we've had over in these really tough years have really been good. The cooperation has been wonderful between our district and EPCWID and the Bureau, because it's been amazing to me that we delivered the amount of water that we have. When we started in the season, I thought, oh my goodness, but it seems like we've kind of struggled through it. It's happened strictly because of the cooperation between everybody.
Yeah, I totally agree, Mr. Stubbs, with the communication is the link.
Yeah.
You know, communication is so important.
On a daily basis, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, well, we appreciate your report. Thank you for coming, and you're welcome anytime.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the audience want to address the board? No? Okay. First item is item 3 minutes from the last meeting. Any additions or corrections? I didn't see anything. Haven't heard none, I'd entertain a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Larry makes a motion.
Second.
Lindar second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, Mary, you on.
Morning.
Good morning.
There is a slight correction. There was a 6-month CD 3600092447 that renewed, matured on August 29, 2015, and the new maturity date would be February 29, 2016.
Which one is it now?
Next to the bump.
3600092447. And we also invested $1 million for 18 months with a yield rate of 0.35%.
The one you did on February was February what? Of 16? Maturity date?
February
first one?
29, 2016.
And it was that, but is that rate correct, 0.20?
Yes, it is. It stays the same.
All right.
Balance sheet. We need to discuss our balance sheet. We've been discussing it for the past 2 years. Hopefully we have it rectified now. You'll notice,
Fixed assets.
yeah, under the fixed assets, I went and visited with Mike O'Donnell. He called me and asked me to come down last week, and the week subsequently he talked to Mary about it. And I think, Mary, if you want to explain what the resolution of that was.
The discussion was that we'll go ahead and remove the structural water from the balance sheet. But at the end of the year, on our financials, there will be a side note explaining for it or the value of the infrastructure.
The irrigation infrastructure.
Correct.
We're still gonna track all of the other normal use equipment, whatever, it's all there still and have to depreciate that to kind of show what the value of all that is, but since there's no way to really value the irrigation system itself, any improvements there too will be just the repairs and maintenance. I think this solves everybody's problem, but does it not? How we
Yeah.
can-
I think so too.
Okay.
Now, he said he will do it on our annual, but it'll be footnoted or asterisk or something.
Yes.
We'll do
On
what?
the note section.
It's gonna be on the annual.
We'll do what, though?
You know, they're not gonna put any value there, they're just gonna put a note there explaining
Why there's
why.
not-
Why there is not a
Yeah.
value.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
All right. Any other questions or comments about the balance sheet? It only took us 2 years to get that.
Yeah, no, that one, that's good. It's a good thing.
And then the cash flow balance, budget performance.
Mary, this current year, last month, we extended now, and our current year ends October 31.
October 30th.
That's one we're in right now.
Yes.
Okay, good.
We got that.
We got a few extra months
Yeah,
in our budget, yeah, okay.
And this moment, we've done very well. Our revenue has exceeded our expenses, 2 million, by 2 million.
So unless they get really wild, we'll make it through the year with the money we got.
Sure.
$500 check report.
I just had one question on that, the very last one, Winder Industries, Industrial Works. What are aluminum bronze nuts?
I wouldn't know what that was. The aluminum bronze.
Aluminum bronze
Yeah.
nut.
I wondered what that was.
4 of them.
I'll have, let
Have to
me,
ask somebody.
yeah, let me ask Pete on
Because that,
I know that we're constructing some gates,
all right, because that'll,
for the upgrade of our system. I
yeah,
don't know if
that,
that's,
that memo, aluminum bronze nut, didn't make a lot of sense.
If it does, it did that.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is, so.
What about that, Arts Auto Body and Paint? What
They
happened?
didn't, that check barely got there, come
that's
on.
a vehicle, one of our vehicles that was hit by another.
Mhm.
And so we went ahead and took care of the damage, and then we'll get reimbursed by the insurance, correct, Lisa?
Yes.
The very first item, Rocky Steels did that survey, forest boundary survey, is that in that disputed property over here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we finally got the line surveyed and everything, and so everything's in line.
Is there any problems?
No,
No
the,
encroachment?
no encroachments on the rock walls. There was a slight encroachment on how they were constructing their driveway, but we put a stop to it
Yeah.
temporarily, and then we want to get back to them and see if they're interested in buying the property.
Well, there are some people interested in that.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions, Mary's $500 check report? You got off really light this morning. Okay. There's your legal and consulting fee budget report too, and your credit card report. I don't like to look at that legal and consulting.
Well, did you notice we've gotten in,
Hardly adequate.
we've gotten in the field for pennies so far.
Kind of makes a joke.
Well, I think it might be cool just to mention this. I was in the trial in Las Cruces last week, several days, and the USA in the United States did the best job in court I can ever remember their doing. They had 5 lawyers in the courtroom every minute. And
And you went for other time, and then, not Maria, but
Sarah.
Sarah was there, yeah.
she was the previous week.
And it's still going on, I mean, it's not over.
It's not over. That's right. And so the problem is, if you got that many lawyers stirring the pot, there's just no way you can control your budget. You can't make an estimate. You don't know what's gonna turn out.
No. Anybody have any questions of the legal and consulting fee budget report or the credit card report? Okay, well, Mary, let the record, Sharon, let the record show no action. We reviewed it. Mary, you're off the hook. Okay, general manager.
Rose is next.
Oh, yeah, excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry, Rose.
No problem.
I overlooked the most important part.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, we have no tax adjustments.
Yeah, I noticed that. Y'all take vacation this month?
I did take a few. Okay, our second item would be the Public Service Board leases and assignment. This is a project that we have joined with Public Service Board to solicit for water rights. We have presently processed 1,081 leases. It represents 108,100 in processing fees, and we collected $26,533.45. And this is what the Public Service Board pays. And it's still a compensation of $2,500 per week.
Still going on, that's
Yes. And this is going to be year-round from here on.
tremendous.
Next report, we have our comparison, 2013 tax assessment versus 2014. We are at 98.274 versus last year we were at 97.8583%. So we're ahead of it.
That's great. Probably because of your program. Because it's probably been the other.
Public Service Board, and then we also have the law firm of Weinberger, Delaney, Sampson, that got us on board, they help us a lot. Our next report is the tax suits. Excuse me. Presently, we have 162 tax suits active that have not been dismissed or judgment taken or not sued. We did have 3 accounts paid from last month to this month. And we were able to send out notices to property owners that have paid their accounts and also have had outstanding taxes about the Public Service Board in Lower Valley program, about compensation, and also that only PSB pays taxes, Lower Valley does not, but we did send notices. So we're going to notify our current, which would be paid accounts, and our delinquent accounts.
All right.
And that's all I have.
Okay, well, that's a piece of cake. The Rose is going to have any questions of Rose? Keep up the good work. All right, now.
Okay. On item A, we'll wait till Robert gets here, and then we'll do the presentation. That presentation, he's got dates on when we're going to shut down in the different districts. So we'll do that together along with Al. We've got Al on Skype today. Item B, I guess I'll turn it over to the board president. He made the meeting. I was out of town, so.
Well, Jay and I both made a meeting. Mary had to pass that bill, and I can't remember the bill.
Legislation.
The legislature this year, establishing a stormwater, it's like a district, but they have no taxing powers or any way to fund itself. It's basically what it is put a group of people interested entities that are interested, Lower Valley Water District, PSB, Horizon, Socorro, Tornillo, everybody that's had problems with floods, and coming up with a plan to kind of alleviate some of these problems. And each entity needs to have a representative on this board. Over the ensuing years, it will be developing of the plan. Now, once you have the plan, and that group can recommend the plan, you can go to Texas Water Development Board or any of these other places, federal grants, that sort of stuff, to get the money to do the project. And by doing this, this entity can assist those entities who don't have the ability to do that, the small ones. Public Service Board, of course, can and has done their own flood control. They've got their own district and that, but this is outside the city where this takes place. And it'll help areas like Clint or Favens or Socorro, which don't have the money to do this kind of planning. So it's just embryonic at this time. Jay was there to represent our district, and I showed up and messed it up. But I feel there's a positive potential here. It's very similar to the Texas Water Plan that you and I sat on for a lot of years. And you had to develop a plan for the far west Texas area, which is 13 counties, which we did over a period of 3 years, the initial plan, and it's an ongoing situation where you continue to plan for specific needs of specific areas or communities. And it's the same, this deal is very similar to that, and once you have that plan, then if you can approve the plan, or the group approves the plan, then you can obtain funds from the Texas Water Development Board or whatever. Same situation. I thought the meeting went well. We had a good participation. We need to have a board member selected by our board by resolution to do that. And I'd like to suggest that Chewy be our representative, and of course maybe Jay the alternative. So we need both. We need that so that they know exactly who is a voting member. So each entity has to select somebody by board resolution to make them an official member. So I think under the agenda item, attorneys, we can do that this morning. They're asleep.
I'm sorry, John, what's the question?
I told you. We need to select a member to this board by resolution.
Well, you
Under that
can't do it
agenda
today
item,
because you don't have it on the agenda.
well, it's on the agenda under 6B. That's what I'm asking. Can we do it under 6B or not? If not, we'll have to bring it back. We'll bring it back. Okay, let's make sure next agenda that we have the selection of a voting member to that board. I don't think they're going to have any meetings.
December 4th.
Yeah.
December 8th is the next one.
So we're okay. Any other questions? Right now, they don't have taxing authority, which was my biggest concern to start off with. So, but it doesn't say that they can't go out and get it. So, but it really, I think it is offers some real potential help for the area as far as flooding. You can't prevent flood, but you can mitigate some of the problems that happen. Okay. Anybody have any questions? If not, go ahead, Chewy.
And that's all I had as far as in the open. Under item 12 in the closed, I've got a couple of items there that Al and I are going to be giving you all a report on in the closed session.
Okay. All right. Robert Shaw.
Yes. Number 2.
Oh, there you go. Robert. I'm here. The first is District Engineer's Report. Dr. Blair and Jake.
Yeah. Thanks in a minute. I had to mute my microphone so you don't hear me typing while I'm working on stuff. I think Robert's gonna give me a report on the water. We haven't finished up the reconciliation from last month, with EPCWID shut off. Robert's gonna give me some additional information on that. And, everything looks, a loss analysis, and our losses are behind, they increased. We were running out 10% losses on the river when EPCWID was on, and once they went off, the losses in volume went down, of course, because there was less water, but in percentage went up. So we're 30%, 28% of the water released is leaks or evaporates or is somebody pumping it out of the river between Caballo and our diversion points. We have the west side canal in operation. He's going to talk about that. I think the east side's out now. We have a pretty significant loss in the west side canal. But having said all that, we're still on track to carry over between 30 and 40,000 acre feet for next year. You know, the one thing we got to be careful about is on the average inflows between now and March is that not all that water is usable water. Those gross numbers coming into Elephant Butte, and we've talked about before, depend on how the compact works. In some years, if that water goes by Ottawa, we get quite a bit of credit for it. In other years, if it's below Ottawa, we don't. So we don't really know how that's going to show up in electric. We'll calculate it. But I mean, with that caution, you're doing good, and you know, we need to continually monitor it, and we probably need to have meetings in. You know, it used to be we allocated in December for the next year when we had storage, but this year, you know, in February, we need to pay attention to decide what we're going to do in March. You know, I'll be glad to answer any questions. I don't have a PowerPoint to present today, but at the next board meeting.
Anybody have any questions about it?
Are we gonna make further allocations now? Are we through with that? Are we going off allocation?
Let's hear Robert's. I haven't heard Robert's report as to where he is, and we could make a determination today. This would normally be the time we'd start considering going off allocations, about 2 weeks prior to when we shut down.
You want to hear?
I mean, I haven't heard from Robert, so I need to hear his
I
report.
want to hear from Robert first. Okay, you got some other items, Rio Grande compact accounting and the status of third-party construction in district canals, those two items.
Yeah, I'm going over the compact work. There's nothing other than my caution you on, you know, the winter waters to be usable water for us to release it. But Jay will give you an update on any construction. I think the only construction we have right now this time of year is in the drains. But Jay, go ahead and give them an update on that.
Right, we only have one project currently ongoing at the middle drain and Buford. They're expanding to 4 lanes from North Loop to Alameda. And J.D. Abrams doing the work. They've constructed the box culverts and finished the upstream side concrete line. So they're wrapping up, probably by next week they should finish within the drain. And obviously, as soon as we shut down, we've got a couple of projects starting up, but I'll brief you on the next month's board meeting, since they'll be probably starting mid-October and continuing through mid-February. But that's the only one currently ongoing, and it's going well.
Anything else, guys? Well, I guess we can call on Pete. There he is.
Good morning.
Marine maintenance program and water delivery system.
Presentation. Okay, well, we continue with our mowing and our normal repairs. We have had a couple of problems within our delivery system. We have done some cleanup and some prep work for the upcoming projects coming up this winter. Hold on. These are just some of the projects that we've accomplished this month. It's been pretty busy month. Took that picture for those people that don't believe there's gopher holes out there.
That's a big go.
Yes, it is. That's just downstream from North Loop, by the old Burris farm. I just thought that was pretty interesting. We continue with the Riverside. Like I said earlier, trying to do some prep work for the upcoming shotcrete that we'll be doing on the Riverside from the Partidor up to, or actually from the bridge, Bustamante, up to the heading. Using our trucks, and they're also delivering for us. And we're stockpiling right on the Riverside where we'll use this to push it in, roll it over into the drain to get the alignment that we want before the shotcrete. Waste Channel, Robert's been having some trouble with his some of his telemetry sites, and we found some of the problems. Apparently, the waste channel is being backed up with all the debris or the weeds that are growing inside the channel. Here's just some of the cleanup that we've done to try to lower the water level there. This is the Montoya drain up the valley. This is just upstream from Frontera. We've already dug out the bottom portion of it where I believe last month I showed you guys a picture of the high water. And this is the upstream side. That's River Bend right there, that street that you see on the right hand side. There's our mower doing some of the cleanup. This is the downstream side looking towards Sunland Park. And you can see from this picture compared to this picture how much the water has dropped just with the cleanup we've done from Frontera down to the river. The river's still on the high side, so that's the water you see there. That's water being backed up from the river. Once the river drops, there's a tapanco right at the mouth of the outlet of the drain that needs to be removed to be able to get that water completely out. We'll be able to drop it about another 3 feet. And of course, some of our little problems with trees and then some of the debris being dumped on our canals. You know, this is over by the riverside in Fagans. I had some people complain about trash and limbs and everything behind their property. And it's just things that are being dumped on us. Somebody living on our ditch bank there on the riverside, stockpiling their tires. It's just ridiculous, the stuff that we find out there. This is the Canotillo Canal. This is, I believe the last board meeting, we were working on this project here where the Canotillo actually fell into the drain. And in fact, that's the picture I think I showed last month. 2 water lines there. My understanding is there's one that's active and that one that's been abandoned, but was left in place. Was never removed. These are to the well field that the Public Service Board has there in Canotillo, right behind the Bosque Farm, or the Bosque Park, sorry.
That's their pipeline?
That's their pipeline, yes, sir. Replacing the pipe underneath, this is on the Nexus drain. This is actually what failed. It was corroded and Canotillo fell into it. Being of such importance, this canal, you know, it took us 3 days to actually go in there and remove the old debris and finish up to where Robert could put water back in. Install some rubber liner just in case we had any problems over the drain. And then water put back in. That's actually the day the following day after we finished.
I guess, Pete, you have to really pack the heck out of that. Is that where you use those packers to really?
Yes, sir.
Make sure you don't, when you get that weight of that water, you don't ever have a
Yes, sir.
slump up. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, and then that rubber line is just a precaution, just to make sure that if we left any kind of soft spots or anything like that, that will just kind of protect the canal. This Socorro lateral at Orguin Road, this is a project that we did for the city of Socorro. They paid for all the material for one of their crossings, one of the road crossings, and we went in there and did the work for them. Removed the pipe, left the head walls in place, stabbed the other one inside, and then we went ahead and embedded it in two-stack. Just because of the traffic and the cover that we had on that pipe, we wanted to make sure that something heavy don't go over and collapse it. That's what it looked like after we put the two-stack on top. And after we covered it up, they still have to come in here and remove about 6 inches of that screening on top and then repave. But Socorro will be doing that. This is a project that we just completed on Monday. Y303 also a flume that collapsed. And you can see right, somebody earlier had gone in there and put a slab of concrete over the top, so it just made it more difficult. I believe a farmer went in there and put concrete over the top some years back. No. That's all the same project there. That's on the Y303 over the Mesa spur drain. This one here also, we had no cover over the top of the pipe. And both these ditch banks are used by people that live alongside Mesa spur drain that are landlocked. We got no way in other than our drain. So we also went in there and two-stacked it and assured that it wasn't going to get crushed.
And of course, we've got trash trucks from Lower Valley going in there, utilizing that bank, also picking up garbage, and so there's no way of controlling the weight that goes in and out of that bank.
There's quite a bit of horse farms back there that also go in there with these big trailers. So that was something that needed to be done. That's the upstream side where we make the connection from their pipe to our pipe. And the downstream side. I-57, we continue trying to raise those banks above that concrete lining to avoid any kind of damage to the concrete instead of that lining. Island Main, we had actually on this one here, we had one of our supervisors go out there. They called that this turnout was leaking. So when the supervisor went out there, he bent over and grabbed himself from the stem of the old turnout, and the whole front of the head wall fell in, where it separated from the pipe. Needless to say, my supervisor had a afternoon bath in the Island Main.
Maybe it's a good thing there's water in it.
There you go. Those are the repairs that were done to it. Tie into the community ditch. This dirt here, I got a call from the contractor. They had all this dirt that they were giving away. They were trying to get rid of it. So we found some problem areas and some areas up the valley. This is over by Riverbend, like where we're doing the cleanup on the drain. So we took advantage of it, sent a couple of trucks up there, and we're hauling some of that dirt out using our trucks. Also, they've got 3 trucks that are assisting us. There's a lot of dirt there. That's right beside the White Spur drain where we're going to be doing the work for the Public Service Board. So we'll be able to utilize a lot of that dirt to cover the pipe where we're gonna extend approximately 200 feet, Jake?
180.
180 feet. So we're gonna utilize a lot of that dirt. And here we're also reestablishing the drain bank, because as you can see, the road is right there right beside it, and they've gone in there and they've sloped it to where all the rainwater will go into our drain. So when that happens, we get all these ruts and all this washouts on our drain. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually raising the drain banks higher than the road.
That's it.
Is there some place for the water to go though, Pete?
They've got some drains that, actually they pipe into our drain, into our Montoya drain. And we'll be discussing that in that number 12, what I've discussed with John Baloo on that time.
The water needs to go somewhere eventually.
Right.
To reach that.
The only thing is that they went in there and graded our bank real badly. I guess they cut it like, what, almost 2 feet deep?
Yes, sir.
And without permission. So I sent off